All right, you all, Sharif right here with We Buy Black. I'm right here with our beautiful sister, Nani Israel. How you doing, sister?
Hello, hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, most definitely. I love your energy. You really coming with it today. How's everything going?
Everything's going peachy keen. Thank you, thank you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So tell us about your business. Tell us what you got going on. But first, start talking about a little bit about yourself, your family, and then talk about your business for us.
Okay, my name is Nani, and I am a 30-year-old multi-six-figure entrepreneur. I currently live in Ohio. I'm married, been with my husband since high school. And we've been together, oh Lord Jesus, I forgot how many years. You know, after you've been with somebody for so long, you just stop counting after a while. We have no babies. We have 2 fur babies. And I'm on the road with him often because he's a trucker. So that's a very interesting and rugged and unconventional lifestyle.
That's like a series in and of itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. But as far as the business is concerned, I am the founder of the Ladies of Elegance CEO Academy. It's the name of the company, which is an award-winning digital entrepreneurship charm school for ambitious women in business to discover their superpower, transform their side hustles into 6-figure enterprises, and polish their crown on autopilot. The way that we do that is through social media monetization, sales funnels, automation, and manifestation. So I've just been so incredibly blessed throughout my business journey. I have a team of 6 people now, insane, and we've been able to generate over 250K from Instagram with less than 15,000 followers. We've helped well over 2,000 women at this point monetize their social media accounts, and hundreds are making 4 and 5 figures a month after working with us. So
hey, look at you. I see it all on your face. You just excited. I love it.
Oh my God, you have no idea.
I know that's right. What part of Ohio? I'm not trying to pinpoint you, but what part of Ohio?
Oh, cheese and crackers. Nobody's ever heard of it. It's Steubenville, but it's we'll say it's an hour, almost 2 hours southeast of Cleveland, just to kind of.
That's interesting. I actually believe, I could be wrong, but there's a guy that sometimes like helped me with like things around my house and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that's where he's from.
Oh, hot diggity.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where he's from. My wife is from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, got you.
My wife is from Columbus, Ohio. I'm not gonna throw his name out here, but off air, I share his name, and then maybe, you all probably, from the sandbox together. We don't know,
No, listen, we are not from Ohio. We're from Virginia and moved to Ohio about 2 years ago. So this is all brand spanking new to me. I think we're about 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, it's a little close.
That's not what Chappelle is living at, is it?
I think he's I thought he was in Cleveland. He's not in Cleveland?
No, I thought he was where you just mentioned. I thought so.
Nah, he ain't in Steubenville. Steubenville's in town.
What's up? So I'm assuming that, in order for you to start a business like this, then you had to be the first person to actually go through this. Tell us about that experience.
Wow. All right.
It had to start with you. There's no way you could help everybody else make 6 figures if you didn't do it for yourself first.
This is so true. This is so true. So, oh God, the journey of building a business. So, I know it started in college. Both of my parents have been entrepreneurs for as long as I can remember. My father was in real estate. He had a mortgage brokerage that I helped him with in high school. My mom's been doing hair, been working for herself since before I was living. So they were the first examples of entrepreneurship that I kind of received. And my dad really put that bug in. I think I got it from him because, you got to have a business mindset in order to really get out here and make it, And so when I was in college, I remember kind of searching tirelessly for ways to be able to get out of poverty, I think that because I graduated college in 2013. So about 2011 to 2013, that's where the natural hair revolution was going on, within our sisters. And we were all in a mindset where Social Security, is not going to do anything for us by the time we reach retirement age. So I know for me, I was just searching online. I would search from morning until morning, digging for a way to get out of the financial situation that I was in. I did graduate college, but I went 3 years with no books. I had no socks, it was rough. I had to borrow people's books and copy the pages I needed, to be able to get out here and make it work, So fast forward. I mean, granted, I was doing everything. I was side hustling everything. I was selling books. I was in the travel industry. You name it, I tried it,
So wait, you were selling books, but you ain't have books for yourself.
Right. No, here's the thing. I was doing what's it called? The book renter situation. Like they had a whole book rental situation. I couldn't afford it. Lord Jesus, I couldn't afford it. But I couldn't afford it for myself. But I was like side hustling everywhere just to be able to stay in school and then survive with whatever little bit that I had. Right. So fast forward, my first job out of college, I ended up working in the admissions office for my college. That was an all women's school, by the way, in Virginia. And that was short-lived because, well, hell, if we keeping it really real, I was fired because I was Black. Like, to keep it really, really real with you, I got fired 6 months in because I was Black. I'm gonna just tell her what it is. Real talk. So so after that, I ended up getting a job at Verizon Wireless, stayed there for 3 years. And I distinctly remember, because I was super, super good at sales. And I distinctly remember, because that is also where I started my business, but it started out as just solely a charm school. And I've always been, in the career development world and things like that. But I figured to myself, because I loved my experience so much as an admissions counselor, kind of seeing the sparkle on high school girls' faces to get them to think, wow, if I choose to go to an all-women's college, I'm actually choosing to go to school, not for the party scene, but to get an education, to grow a sisterhood, to learn how to play the game when I actually get out here and graduate, right? So I figured, okay. I remember in college thinking to myself, or at least attending a, what do you call it? A job, some kind of job seminar. And I heard something that was really life-changing for me. He said, in order to find what he called your dream job, I consider it your passion in life. He said, find a problem in society that pisses you off and be a part of the solution to change it. I thought to myself, okay, well, the thing that grinds my gears, so to speak, is every time I turn on the television screen and I see women that look like me, they're shown as loud, they're shown as combative, they're shown as shameless, they're shown as promiscuous. And that wasn't my world. That wasn't how I viewed Black women growing up. That wasn't my example. And so I said, well, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to popularize integrity. I'm going to popularize Black excellence. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to make it a thing. And so that's where kind of the idea sparked, where I solely worked on confidence building, character building, conversational skills, things along those lines. And I had to learn very quickly that even though it was something that was so needed, it was something that not very many people were willing to invest in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even though I was helping people build businesses here and there, doing little tech for businesses here and there, I realized that it's a whole lot easier, especially after investing in my own business, it's a whole lot easier to convince people as to why they need more money versus why they needed to grow their confidence. Because really and truly, that is just at the center. That mindset is at the center of everything. And so you pull them in with the vision of getting to their freedom lifestyle. Because what we all want as millennials, I'm just keeping it real, what we all want as millennials is to do what we want when we want, spend time with our families, travel whenever we want to, have a sense of financial security, and still be able to bless others without having to be bogged down by a 9-to-5 job or building somebody else's dream and their vision. So there was a hard push, and forgive me if this answer is too long. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. There's a hard push for marrying what you're really good at doing and what you really love to do, and how you're able to get out here and build a business that feeds your soul and your family. So I wanted to do that originally for high school and college girls, so that by the time they got out here in this real world, they would already have a strong foothold, but they were broke. And so was I, you know? So what I noticed was that the people who started paying me the most were already grown women. They already had families. They were already in that headspace where they were trying to grow their side hustles. And after helping them and them receiving results, my audience base had to shift, and so did my business. So here we are today.
Right. That's what's up, though. That's what's up. So how did, I guess, like, I want to ask you about your first client, customer. How did they find out about you, right? I know, like, for me, I could, like, remember, like, the first few customers that I had. But do you remember your first customer, client? And do you remember what you've done for them? Like, do you remember that whole experience? If not the very first one, then, like.
Well, I'll say this. I started out reaching out to my church family, and I would host free classes, free etiquette classes, right? Yeah. Then when I launched my program, I had a community of people to reach out to that were willing to support me. But even before I started monetizing what I do,
right?
There were ladies who, I mean, look, prime example, let's say we were talking about procrastination, right? And how to kill procrastination and so forth. And I would give them a skill, a life skill, which is the 2-minute rule, which essentially is an idea where if it pops up in your head and you know it needs to get done, if it takes less than 2 minutes to do it, knock it out, right? And we would do little skill drills, things like that. So they would come back and tell me, oh my gosh, that 2-minute rule is everything. You know, I realized I have so much more time, so forth and so on. So that's just a little small snippet of how that first experience was with positively impacting the lives of the ladies that I serve. Then once I started to transition into purely social media monetization and growing as far as that's concerned, I think this, well, I got to tell you, my church family was like thousands deep. I got to tell you. So I think from there, it just spread. But I had to realize very quickly, the perfect strangers were the ones who got us to that level of the 250K, you know? And so I think it was kind of like a mix. Like once you get into a groove and you start to intimately know the people that you serve, it is such an incredibly powerful thing to get an email, because I still share our screen shares and emails and text messages I get from my students to this day. I share it with my team. I'm like, y'all, we did this. Like this person came, she started out here at ground zero, and this is where she's at right now. There are people whose products are in Sephora and Walmart and selling internationally that started from freaking ground zero, you know, and it's so wonderful to be able to hear. It's so wonderful. That's the type of stuff that just makes my soul sing, you know.
That's what's up. Let me ask you this. I don't know. I know you mentioned like it's like an all women's empowerment group, but I just wanted to ask you.
Do I have the fellas?
Pretty much, like, right. Like, not only do you, I really wanted to ask you, like, so not only do you help men too, but I was going to ask you, do you notice any difference when working with men in business than working with women in business? Right? Like, is there anything that you notice when working with the two?
That's a great question. And I have to say this. For the programs that I offer, they're solely for women. There have been men, like we have one-off courses and so forth. And those one-off courses, men have grabbed them. They've done things with them. My calling is for helping women.
Gotcha.
And for that reason, I explicitly only serve women. And I mentioned to the brothers that ask, because people ask all the time, men ask all the time, hey, do you help men? Absolutely, with one-off courses. But I pour everything that I have into the women. That's my mission. That's my superpower. And for that reason, LOE Academy targets and serves, kind of rolls out the red carpet for those women. So I know there are plenty of other coaches and plenty of other programs that serve both. But for us, our calling is serving the women. you know.
No, I'm with that, right? Like, yes, I was really interested. I was like, I wondered, like, if you did work with men and if you notice, like, was it like you were working with both at one point? And you was like, nah, you know what? I'm done with these guys. Like, I'm working only with women.
No, I from
Wasn't
the
that?
very beginning, because what we talk about,
Hmm.
I'll start by saying this. The women, the issues that they come in with, the issues that they have when we first start working with them, they're going through superwoman syndrome, where they're giving to and serving everybody and taking care of everybody and everything, you know, so much so to the point where they neglect their own self-care. We go, you know, these women are dealing with mental health issues where they're stressed beyond belief. A lot of them, you know, deal with procrastination. And for that reason, they deal with procrastination because they don't have a very strong foothold in their time management. These are women's issues that only women can understand, and women have to help other women to get through. You know how, biblically speaking, when older women were supposed to teach the younger women, listen, this right here is how you move throughout life. This right here is how you get what you need to get. This right here is how you treat people. And for that reason, the core of it being a charm school has never left LOE Academy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
sure.
so I, as a woman, do not feel as though I can teach a man how to be a man. That ain't my role. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I know for a fact I can help out a woman who's dealing with the superwoman syndrome and the overwhelm and the procrastination. I can help her to transition her mindset while she's getting to her bag. Because the bag is like, it's kind of like a not even a means to an end. Essentially, it is a means to an end. That's kind of like the afterthought as a result of you walking in your superpower. That business should be serving whomever it is that you're looking to serve. But in the meantime, you know, we're strategizing in a way to make sure that you're actually out here growing a legitimate business, making legitimate money, making the right moves the first time. You know, it's like a holistic situation we got going on here.
You know, as you mentioned that, I guess it's a couple things that come to my mind of women that I work with in business. I may have had a guy to say it before, but definitely within the last 2 months, I had 2 women that come to me and say the same thing. How did they put it? They were basically saying that they struggled with balancing their spiritual aspirations and their material aspirations. But I feel like you sort of have a strong hold on both, because you reference your church, you reference the Bible, you reference your community and helping people. And at the same time, very clearly, you're getting to the bag.
Yes.
So how do you find that balance? And like, how did you give that, like, what kind of advice do you give people who are going through that same situation of not knowing how to balance those two?
Oh, I love that question. Okay. So the way that you balance it essentially is to always have a mission-driven mindset first. The mindset has to be on the mission. And for a lot of what these ladies are doing, they're looking at other people and thinking, okay, well, she has 7 figures because she got all these different avenues of, you know, revenue coming in. Whereas they try it and it's too freaking much. It's too much going on. They selling products here, they drop shipping there. They trying to do a coaching program. They trying to be a speaker. They trying to be an author. No, boo. Listen, first off, what that indicates to me is a clear disconnect in their purpose. There's a disconnect. And when you do not have a strong hold on exactly what it is that you've been born to do, because there is a calling that you have, what is that? Because that's essentially the way we systemize our program, right? You first have to identify exactly what that superpower is. And then after you're able to identify that superpower, then you learn how to attract, or first off, identify, and then attract the people who need that superpower. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that therefore you're in perfect alignment. So after you're able to identify exactly who those, what we call internally, those perfect payers are, that's when it's time to start to build out the systems. It's time to start to monetize. You are presenting yourself as from a business perspective, you're presenting yourself as a resource. It's all about serving. When you're able to serve, you are then in alignment with your superpower. Then of course we get into all the other stuff like pricing, sales, having this set up and that set up, so forth and so on. Because once the foundation is good, you're set. So we're not talking about making money until you're able to identify based upon what we're talking about here. And until you're able to sit down and say, you know what, this right here is exactly how I'm able to serve. This is whether you sell a product or a service. We have like one student I'm thinking about who went through domestic violence in her lifetime, and she wanted to help other women who've gone through domestic violence through the art of dance. Who the frick does that? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's another thing. It's like, okay, I'm passionate about dance. I'm passionate about helping people. Here's how you can marry that and then go make a business out of it. There's another one who loves working with kids, because we work with moms. Oh my God, moms. I mean, mompreneurs. People got kids, women got kids. It is what it is. And so a lot of them are struggling with balancing so much in the first place, right? There's another one who's a mother of 5, and she's married and she works full time, and she's also trying to grow her business. But what she ended up doing was building a business that creates learning materials for Black children so they can learn to love themselves and what they play with, see themselves and what they play with, right? And while they're learning and so forth. We have, I'm trying to think, there's somebody who's in e-commerce that creates or sells clothes for moms and kids to look alike, the kind of look alike type of clothes. Little things like that. I mean, there has to be a sense of purpose. If you're trying to build a business because you think it's cute, if you're trying to build a business because you need the bag, you're going to have a very unfortunate life. It's going to be a very hard road. You're going to quit, and then you're going to move on to something else, and you're going to be disappointed with yourself. So my biggest thing is to make sure, because that was the biggest struggle for me, coming from college or transitioning from college to the adult world. I knew that I was bigger than my current circumstance. I knew that I was meant to help women blossom into the very best versions of themselves. I just had no idea how to get it done. So now that there's a resource out here that helps women to be able to knock that out in like a day, a week, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You take the time out, you identify it, then you have the accountability and the mentorship to really get out here and make it a reality. So it's not a pipe dream. And you sitting up at your 9-to-5 job, hoping and wishing and wondering and praying, it's about taking the action. It's about taking the action. And I'm so absolutely huge on that. We don't mysticize the lifestyle of freedom, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Manifestation is quite literally your faith coupled with action. It ain't magic. You know what I'm saying?
No, I love that. I love that. I was going to ask you about your team. So you mentioned that you have 6, was it 6 or 9? 6. You mentioned that you had 6 people that work with you.
Yes.
And I'm assuming they all are women.
Yes. They're all women, yes.
Right. I should have betted on that one.
Absolutely.
Made some money today. Made some money. All right. So okay, 6 women that work with you. I heard you mention like a few times about, the 9-to-5, right? And, and doing something different, aspiring to be better. How do they take that? Like when you mention it, like, is it a 9-to-5 for them? Do they see it as a 9-to-5? Like, I'm just assuming if you're saying that, it has to affect them in some way, or does it? Like, did you situate your business differently than how other people situate? I don't know. You know where I'm going with this. So.
Yes, absolutely. Now, have I hired people that just want the paycheck is the question, right?
Pretty much.
So the answer is no. I actually, over half of my staff, so 3 out of the 6 were previous students. Okay. When you hire people who have already felt the impact, seen the results, they are they're cheerleaders for your brand. They are the most dedicated, hardworking, mission-driven group of women I have had the honor of working with. My very first employee was a student who actually was my domestic violence person. And she's now my director of communications. So she wears all the hats that I don't, which is a lot of hats. She wears a lot of hats, but she is absolutely so in love with her position. She's told me sometimes, she says, sometimes I just wake up and think to myself, like, am I dreaming? I have to pinch myself. And she's a mother of 4 boys, and she's a single mom, and she works part-time for me, and she makes a full-time income. You know what I'm saying? So that, because granted, she lives in Cali. I'm on the East Coast. She's in Pacific. We're from, I think 9 to 2 Eastern. That's 6 to 11 p.m. 11 a.m. her time. After 11, she's done.
Right.
She's good. Like, so she's loving it. She's loving it, you know? And so we have those discussions. And I also made it a point to make sure that my employees are also business owners. So they're looking to grow their businesses. They're consuming the content, therefore they can speak to, you know, from a first person point of view, what's going on within their own businesses while we're front facing, talking to the students. I remember, because as far as my employees are concerned, we have 2 what we call application managers. Those are the ladies who actually call our new leads to have conversations with them, see where they are in their business journey, and see whether or not they're pre-qualified for our higher ticket coaching. Some of the feedback that I've gotten from those, from my application managers, is that these women that they talk to on the phones are so excited that they've even gotten a phone call from somebody to talk about their business. You know what I'm saying? Because it's their baby. They're talking about their baby. They're talking about their passion, you know, and so they've gotten off the phone. I got the recordings. Oh, I'm so glad that you called, blah, blah, blah. Like that, it's life-changing stuff. We're in the business of changing lives. So when you have employees that feel as though they're a part of that, that impact, it just makes it so much better. So everybody's super sharp, everybody's super on point, and I'm so appreciative of that, you know.
Yeah, I love it. See, I could only imagine, you know what I mean? I mean, that's all I could do anyway, right?
Right.
Oh, man.
Oh, stop it. No, but because I'm pretty sure that you experienced the same thing. Sure. From your standpoint. You literally created a platform for Black businesses to be magnified through. So that's all, like, that's life-changing there.
I'm messing with you.
No, I got, yeah. But yeah,
I'm a little jealous, but I'm still messing with you though. So I thought about it. You know, really what it is, or what it sounds like to me, it's like a very similar experience of what I've gone through. You know, I went to Howard studying sociology and community development. And when I graduated, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, but I wanted to help my community. And after looking at all the different statistics that were extremely negative, you know, I looked at it and I said, well, what could I do to change that? And once I sort of got into the business that I was in, every day I was just more and more passionate about it because of exactly what you're talking about. People were like finally making money and people were able to pay their rent. And I remember one young sister, she didn't have money for like books. Actually, it was college. It was interesting. Some of the situation of you. It might have been you. No, I'm joking. But she was like, okay, I can't afford, you know, my books or whatever. And I told her, well, what product do you have? She uploaded on the site, we promoted for, and she was able to pay her a part of her tuition, but all of her books and like some of her tuition. So it was really exciting. But I remember experiences like that. And I thought about it. I wanted to ask you that question about balancing the spiritual and material, because so many people like don't know, like they're like in limbo when it comes to that they choose either side. So those 2 sisters that I was working with, I definitely want to get them your information because, you know, I mean, I gave them, I thought, relatively great advice, but it came from a man, right?
Yes, and it has to be ongoing. You know, after a while, people just forget. They just forget and they just move on, and then overthink and get caught up in their own, what I call mental prison. And oh my God, I cannot tell you how frustrating it is sometimes. There was a post we posted up from Kiki Palmer. Okay. She quoted, she said, she was talking about mindset. And she mentioned, she said, sometimes you close doors of opportunity to you, like you create doors that were never closed. You know what I'm saying? Like, or that were always open. She said, you'll put the door and the knob and the handle and the key on the damn, like on the opportunity, and it never was there. It was never there. And we've heard that so many times out of interviewing and working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I want to say over if I checked my records, we have probably had intimate conversations with well over 400 women that have applied to be a part of our high ticket coaching program. And the pain points or the problem areas are always the same.
Mm.
There's the overwhelm, living in a hamster wheel, the procrastination, the self-disappointment, feeling stuck, all of that. Like it's a consistent pattern. So, and I know later on, I'm pretty sure you're going to ask me how people can get in touch. So I'll save it for that.
That's literally the next question, but go
Okay.
ahead. You don't brought it up now. Like I was actually, the way I was going to segue into it before you just did that, I was going to, no, I was going to talk about the two women. How do they get in contact with you? And
Yes.
you said I was going to do that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do have to say this caveat before I mention how ladies can get in touch. Because the struggle, yo, let me tell you. So outside of not being able to afford books, I know when hubby and I first got married in 2014, we ended up being homeless in 2017. I got my car repoed, very first vehicle I purchased repo because we couldn't afford to keep up the payments. So, and I was also working on getting a master's program or getting a master's degree at the time. So here you are, you just starting a business out here, right? Struggling, trying to make ends meet. When you have a mission-driven mindset, none of that ish matters because there's always that focus on, if I don't get this out here, if I don't serve my people, who the hell is going to do it? You see what I'm saying? And that level of passion is what has to be absolutely necessary in order for you to be able to get out here and build a business that you've always wanted to build. So the little caveat, just want to throw that out there. But to answer how the ladies can get in touch with us, we actually just launched an app. Okay. We just launched an app in September of last year. We had 1,000 seats available, all 1,000 seats filled up in 45 days. Okay. But we do, I actually have to open up some more seats because we're like over 500 capacity. So, so at this point, in order to get inside of our ecosystem, essentially, is what you want to do is save this number to your phone. You want to save 2177 glow up. That's 217-745-6987 and text the word start to that number. So what's going to happen is that we'll send a link to you for one free seat inside of that particular app. It's free for 14 days, no card and no purchase necessary. Inside of that app, of course, you get to plug into just dive straight into the resources in the community. But what happens is that there is what's known as a side hustle success challenge. This is a free challenge. It's essentially a 30-day challenge. So if you want to keep going, you know, but this particular challenge is where I have broken down from ground zero to your first and next six figures, information that I have only shared with my 13K plus paying students, okay, where you are able to get out here and monetize your social media accounts from ground zero, from step one to done, okay? So it's spelled out, it's super easy for you. Go in, create your profile, introduce yourself, because ladies can't wait to introduce themselves, you know, all that good stuff. And that's ultimately how you're gonna be a part of the ecosystem. So that's the primary way to do that. We have courses that come out because you're going to be a part of the text message list. You will receive priority notifications whenever I go live, because I go live on Clubhouse and Instagram and all that jazz, you know, and drop the free gems there. So that's going to be the very first starting point. And from there, that's where you now have a biz coach for life. Okay. And mentor and accountability partner. So that's what that looks like.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Look, all of your passion and everything just oozing out.
Oh God, I can't help it. I can't help it.
Yeah,
you know, you just can't help it when you're just super, super passionate. I remember I was mentioning to you, very first video I ever saw you on when I came across We Buy Black, you was going in on them grocery stores.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, come on through with the groceries. You know, it was amazing. And so, yes, I think I would like to pride myself on saying that we have an integrity-driven business, and we're very picky about the people that we choose to work with, because you have to have a certain mindset and a certain readiness to elevate or to glow up. You know, that's what a lot of our programs are revolving around, is glowing up. You know, essentially the name of the app itself is called the CEO Glow Up Society. So so it's a resource. It's there. It's free. And for the ladies who are looking to level up, we have pretty much everything to help you to grow, like I said, from idea stage to your first or next six figures. If you're in the idea stage, if you're in the growth stage, or even the scale stage, we got you. Okay. So
I
that's
love it. Now, I know you mentioned like the number that people could text and get the information, or call and get the information. Call and text?
No, text.
Text, okay.
Text.
Like people who are listening, they write now on their social media accounts or whatever it may be, like where do they go? Like, what's the social media accounts, website? Where do they go?
Yes. All right. So the website is www.loeacademy.com. It's LOEACADEMY.com. We have the exact same social media handle across all our social media channels. So if you're searching for us on Instagram, just type LOE Academy. If you're on Facebook, LOE Academy, Twitter, LOE Academy. It's very, very easy. But like I said, the spelling again is LOEACADEMY. And so I can't wait to welcome you.
Hey.
So, yeah.
Welcome,
so
y'all.
that is,
y'all.
yes.
And then do with me.
Listen, I'm sorry, brother. I apologize.
That's what's
but
up.
yes.
No, this is excellent. This is excellent. I was talking with someone today on my team, and we were having a conversation about, mass therapy for our community. And, most times I'm thinking about it, like, I think even when I was mentioning to them, I was saying it needs to happen like through the culture, which I believe is like a major thing. But, you're a testament of how it could happen through business, right? Mass therapy through business, because there's so many people who are broken, so many people who are missing some very, very important links. And even in this call, I know other people, family, sisters, who would just be listening that could realize that very quickly that you have something that they're missing.
Right.
And you've done an excellent job at striking that balance, and not going to either extreme, at least from what I'm able to see on camera.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. Yeah. And it's my obligation and my duty to make sure that you get out there and that more people, I mean, you're already out there, you don't need me, right? But more people need to know about you and your program. And we need as many women to join, right? To join this type, let me stop.
No, you're good.
But we need as many women to join this program as possible, literally.
Absolutely.
I love it. I'm super proud of you. Super proud of your family. Yep. Super proud of both of you all. So thank you. Thank you for blessing us, blessing our whole program, with your presence.
Absolutely. Likewise.
You got anything else you want to like share with us before we close?
Oh, hot diggity. I got lots of things, but I think, how should I close this bad boy out? Listen, I'm going to say this. I think that ultimately, in order for you to, and this is kind of like a message to whomever is going to be watching this, in order for you to ultimately get to your freedom lifestyle, you're going to have to push past your fear and make that decision. A lot of times it's a fear factor. A lot of times it's perfectionism and fear that prevents us from staying consistent and reaching our goals. And when that happens, you need accountability. You need somebody to either give you a call, shoot you a text, send a friendly reminder like, hey, what's going on, sis? You good? From a mental perspective and from your business perspective, what's going on, And when a study show that actually increases your chances of success by over 95%. So when you have that extra community support, that extra means of, being able to fall back and tell somebody how stressed AF you are, because sometimes, listen, I understand building a business is a grind. Yes, it's a what do we say? It's a hustle, It's a hustle. It is something that you have to constantly work on, but it's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to step away. Just don't quit, because the second you decide you're going to quit, now the people who need you are left without. So it's a community situation, that we got going on here. So I just want to leave by saying that. And for those ladies, if anything I said resonated, text START to 2177 Glow Up. Okay. And that way we start that conversation. You're part of the ecosystem. You get the education right off rip, and then we get to connect. So yeah, so that's what it looks like.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much. For all the fellas that's listening, you got some free game here. You know, you can't go through all of it, you know, but we got something here. So I love that. But I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate it. And what we're gonna do is you know, we're gonna be in contact, of course. We got to meet up in person. We should have some major event happening soon, like possibly during the summer.
Hey, I can dig it. Just make sure it's not the last week in July. I'm taking my team out the last week in July.
No, it should be the last week in August. Okay, so that's what's up.
All right, we can dig it.
Yeah, but thank you. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate the platform, and your energy has been wonderful too.
That's what's up.